The dominant paradigm now seems to be the sooner we start something, the better. So, okay, we want our kids to know algebra. So let's start to introduce algebraic concepts in 3rd grade or even 2nd grade. And then by the time they get to 8th grade, they'll really know algebra because they've already been introduced to it so early. It's the idea of accumulation. So just adding pebbles or adding more and more to the child's store of knowledge. In a Waldorf school, the whole approach would be completely different. That's not really what a child is at all. A child is not this recipient that we put pebbles into, but a growing, changing being that needs something different at each stage.
In my children, what I see in all children is that they already come perfectly suited to learn. Their imperative is to soak up and absorb as much information as possible.
Children who are very creative in kindergarten, as they go through the grades, they get less and less creative because they've been narrowed in. I've seen my daughters expand out.
It's encouraging what is already within that person to flourish, to grow. And it's creating an atmosphere that is safe, warm, at the same time challenging for that child at that time.
One of the first things that inspired me about Waldorf education is that the tasks are engaging, and they're engaging of all their modalities. They're also brought to them at the right time, that their brain is actually ready so that when you do bring something new to them, they can easily grasp it rather than having to struggle and struggle and struggle with it.
It's not just memorizing a formula, but it's finding out what stands behind that formula and who thought of that formula and where was it discovered.
Me with fire, a sword for my smiting. Light to my
The teacher becomes a storyteller and tells stories of different characters who really developmentally meet the child at that age. So you're constantly telling stories of people of courage. And this is, I think, inspirational to the children.
Strong be my soul where the feeble have failed.
I think that it really helps with your brain development when you're younger and how to like put two together and how to use like visuals to create things that you wouldn't really think of visually. Like other than writing, you don't really think like, oh, well, this is B and this is R. So it really
F.
Okay, but so it really helps you with like a sort of visualization.
In 4th grade, you get an animal report where you have to choose an animal, and then you will write about it and make a diorama.
Our teacher, Miss Arnold, when she taught us reciprocal fractions, she had Sophia's top be the numerator, the denominator, and the fraction bar.
I'm doing the raccoon, and in my diorama, my grandfather is coming down this weekend, and we're going to work on it.
And then she grabbed Sophia without her knowing it and flipped her upside down and said, now the numerator becomes the denominator, and the denominator becomes the numerator.
We're teaching at Waldorf, we're teaching people how to be their greater self, how to bring all of their tools forward. And the teachers here do that without looking through a lens of one thing, of just mathematics, but to see that a child might be able to put mathematics together with a particular creative aspect.
The way they experience the world, the way they are curious about their surroundings is made possible by the fact that they feel free to experience things in different ways, in ways that are not conventional.
Burlington marker, take your marker off.
The practical arts that we have at the school give all children an opportunity to learn things that they may not be learning in the classroom because that's not the way they learn. So they may get it to a certain extent, but then this really puts it into place for them. They see that math is really important, that we have to know how to be able to divide a mixed number when we're trying to find the center of a certain area.
The world is really coming to this kind of education because we need people who are creative and prepared to learn things that, frankly, are emerging and brand new.
When I talk to a lot of other people that I know or parents of children that are trying to figure out what they want for their children, I really do find they put a lot of their own fears about the future, what the future holds for their kids, sort of in front of what their children really need. I mean, I can't imagine a better gift than what I've been given by this school in terms of just really being aware of who I want to be as a parent and how I want to be with my kids, and not sort of try to speed them up or introduce them to things they're really not ready for, but really slow myself down and meet them exactly where they are. And that's the joy that I see from my kids when that happens is incredibly powerful, and it's probably the best gift I could ever have asked for from this community.
Our school here in Baltimore is one of about 1,200 Waldorf schools that's dotted across the globe. I meet young people who have been at our school or at another Waldorf school, and when they transition out, they move on with a really incredibly strong sense of who they are, what they want from the world, and how they are going to contribute to the world.